Hello, my name is Dean Maggot, and today I'm going to be talking about how Apis mellifera can forage at a greater distance. For a little introduction, throughout our studying of the Apis mellifera, we noticed that the foraging distance in honeybees differs from case to case. However, we never took a deeper dive into why these distances can differ so dramatically. Uh, I'm going to show you what the key components of these results are. During the presentation, we're also going to learn about how these bees are specialized or how they use their specialized characteristics to extend the distance they can travel and what the significance of this is. As we get into this, we will look at it with much deeper thought regarding the ideas of performing a more costly task to seek the greater result and what exactly the risk and reward would be in this situation. So first, I want to offer some background information. The act of foraging is one of the most distinctive actions of honeybees. It is the deciding factor between having a honeybee colony or an ambient colony. Bee foraging distances have been studied using many different methods throughout time, the most popular being to release bees at various distances and record the number of returning bees. These studies have allowed us to gather a greater understanding of bee foraging and the impact that it holds on the world's number one pollinator. So now for the research question. Does greater size and waggle dance allow Apis mellifera to forage at greater distances? So to answer this question, I found some statistics from Greenleaf. The study provides a figure that represents the relationship between maximum foraging distance and the intellectual span, as you can see in the figure. Uh, this is a representation showing that larger honeybees are more capable of foraging at a greater distance. This is shown throughout the statistics on the right. And but throughout the dance, it showed indications that honeybees may forage further than predicted based off of size of body. Therefore, the first statistics show that the size of body and the waggle dance have a huge impact on how far that these animals go. Uh, you can see that as the intellectual span goes greater, so does the maximum foraging distance. Therefore, they have a direct relationship. For the second statistics, you can see in the graph that it's between communicating and non-communicating bees. Uh, this is a direct correlation. This is analyzing the benefit and cost of scouting and the scouting distance. You can see that bees that communicate at a higher level have a very, very high percentage of distance, and the bees that don't communicate have a shorter distance. This study is again from Greenleaf, and basically what it's doing is giving information on how beneficial or detrimental scouting or foraging proves to be based on the distance covered while scouting. Like I said before, the study shows that communicative bees who travel at a larger distance had a higher success rate in terms of benefits during scouting. The bees that were non-communicative had a much lower success rate in terms of scouting benefit. Overall, the study gives a good representation of why a communicative bee is essential to the success rate during scouting. I think this one helps answer the question the most. The information is right there. The more you communicate, the greater the distance. The less you communicate, the less the distance. It's a direct correlation, and it really gives a lot more insight to the question. So these are some photos that I attached to give a little bit better understanding of the waggle dance. The first is the round bee dance. This is a way of telling foragers that food source is close. This is a way that they communicate. The second being the waggle bee dance. This is the length. The length of the waggle correlates to how far the food is, meaning this is another key communication form that tells them how close they are to that food. Uh, just to read the slide, I attach these illustrations for the waggle dance and how it is interpreted, what it means for the population. You can see that these dances are vital to Apis mellifera existence and how they communicate effectively. So, what are the results of the study? Overall, throughout the research study, we learned that the need for bees to use the landscape more widely is especially striking when the distance and direction components of the dance vectors are mapped. This came from Verhagen and Borges in 2014. We also learned that the Apis mellifera foraging distance is affected by the effectiveness of the waggle dance, meaning that the more that the communication is used, the better that the effectiveness will be. We also talk about the size of the bee which correlates directly. The larger the bees, the greater amount of distance the pollinator can cover during its foraging exploration. To kind of wrap this up, after looking at the studies and analyzing the information, we can conclude that there's a direct correlation to the ability to forage at larger distances and the size of the bee. Those studies represented that perfectly, and we got our answer. Along with that, it is easy to see that the waggle dance is valuable to the distances as well. Without the communication, it would be detrimental. Communication is vital to the foraging habits of the Apis mellifera, and the communicative behavior is essential for pollination and the survival of honeybee populations. A lot of people don't realize how vital these bees are to us, and this has a direct correlation to us as humans. We rely on the honeybees to pollinate crops and flowers that are essential to our nourishment. Therefore, we should all be concerned about how these bees function, and I believe that this question will help answer a lot of questions when moving forward about honeybees and our relevance. The significance. Taking a look at the question, we can conclude that the topic is highly significant to us in the course, or even for those who have no idea what the importance or relevance of the honeybee is. The reason we can conclude this is because this has a direct correlation to the Apis mellifera survival. This affects how the species can gather food or other necessary resources crucial for their survival. More importantly, the Apis mellifera is the world's #1 pollinator, meaning the foraging distance is vital to pollination of crops and plants and relates directly to our everyday diets. These are my references. Thanks for watching.